set to turn the Charlotte area into a regional tech hub. Tech industry certainly growing around here. The nonprofit CompTIA said in 2022, more than 88,000 people in the Charlotte metro had a technology job, a 3% increase from the year before. And tech now makes up 6.3% of the total workforce. That growth expected to continue this year, and it's anticipated a lot of it, 36%, will be tied to emerging technologies. The federal government is encouraging this growth for competitive and also security reasons with the CHIPS and Science Act. Remember during the pandemic, we saw all kinds of problems because computer chip production slowed or just stopped overseas. Well, the goal is to bring some of that production back here to the United States. But another part of the act is to drive innovation. And to do that, the government is launching a competition. They want communities to apply for regional tech hub status. 20 will be selected, which would then make them eligible for funding support. The Charlotte regional effort is being submitted by the Meta Lab Tech Hub with help from Carolina Fintech Hub. It's an organization that works to promote the financial technology sector here in the Carolinas. It was founded by Charlotte City Council member Tark Bokhari. He says the work being done by our banks, big retailers, and many others in the areas of artificial intelligence and machine learning puts us in a good position to land one of these hubs.
If you've ever used, your bank's mobile app and you've asked a question and it directs you to something, artificial intelligence or machine learning is behind the scenes doing that. It's also doing it in our healthcare industry, looking at all these images from scans and different things and coming up with real intelligence. So AI is woven into so much more than people know, and where it's heading is going to be the difference between successful businesses, which is why we're going after it in Charlotte, and those who don't make the cut.
So you mentioned there's this grant process that's underway. You want formal recognition for Charlotte to be a regional tech hub. Why do you want that? Why is it so important?
Well, when they rolled out the second big piece of the CHIPS and Science Act, it was an open competition for every community in the United States to say, hey, here's what we're going to do to help national defense, to help equity and diversity, but to help create global competitiveness in these areas of innovation. So we in Charlotte sat down and said, well, look, hundreds have already applied for this phase one. One of 20 of those slots that are going to be awarded, formal designation, we just believed it had to be Charlotte on that list.
Is this something that is going to lead to a physical footprint then if you get, the actual funding?
Well, one of the big things they wanted in the EDA for this Tech Hubs application and contest we're going in is a mixture of building new things, but on top of existing assets, on top of the things that are already going on in your region. So when you look at all the major banks on our banking fintech side, Atrium Health and what's going on with the new medical university there, and then things like the North Tryon Tech Hub, UNC Charlotte's campus, we've got both a physical manifestation in those areas that are billion-dollar build-outs, as well as us being the software in the Meta Lab Tech Hub to populate it with artificial intelligence-based innovation and strides to the future.
How do you get them all to work together? Because it's a competitive world out there too.
My friend, you just nailed it. The beauty of the lead organization that I run, the Carolina Fintech Hub, it's a joint nonprofit venture among all those companies. And 6 years ago, we formed that together because we knew the power existed and was untapped in all these big global brands that were competitors of one another on a daily basis, but coming together on topics in collaboration. So that was the real major kind of foot forward we wanted to present in this Tech Hubs competition, that we have some of the company's biggest brands in the world partnering together in a singular mission.
Is that a hard sell for them to kind of get past the competitive side of what they normally do on a day-to-day?
It's incredibly hard, and it's not because they don't want to, per se. It's because these are large, very important brands on a global basis, and they've got secret sauce all over the place, right? So them saying, yeah, we're going to open up our playbook and show some of the things we're doing to our competitors, That's really hard. The beauty for us is we're not asking them to do it for the first time.
You mentioned this is a regional approach that you're going for. So what does this mean for Gastonia, for Hickory, Lenore, et cetera?
I think the fact that it's the broader MSA, it's not just the city of Charlotte, surrounding towns and counties, like we discussed, gives us a unique opportunity to have an urban kind of center of business connected to somewhat more rural areas that all boats will rise, whether it's innovations that are coming and entrepreneurs or just workforce talent pipelining.
A lot of competition for this, you know that.
Huge.
How confident are you?
I'm very confident. I would just say if we saw this at the last minute and put together a bunch of documents to submit this, yeah, I would say we're 1 in 1,000, right?
Yeah.
But we spent 10 months, even before the Tech Hub stuff was announced, figuring out what we really wanted to do, basing it on our existing assets and knowing the mixture of how to justify national security and equity, talking to Congress, to the Biden administration, to the EDA, to really learn, hey, what do you need? And we've checked a lot of those boxes, but more importantly, we've built one of the strongest consortiums with, in my opinion, one of the coolest ideas that is going to be out there.
We should know something perhaps by the end of the year.